Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the 361 Degrees DVD 2. So of course, this is Spencer Dinwiddie's signature shoe with 361 Degrees, which is a Chinese company. The DVD 1 is an absolute banger. It was an absolutely amazing performer last year, and now his second shoe has come out. And 361 Degrees has been killing it in terms of performance. They've been making amazing quality shoes and for a very good price, right? For $100, this shoe is $100, guys. A signature shoe for $100 is kind of crazy. But yeah, so if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave a link in the description box. Hopefully the DVD 2 lives up to the DVD 1. We'll have to see on that. But let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. In this colorway, we have a solid white rubber outsole with like, it looks like a futuristic kind of like hieroglyphic traction pattern kind of, and we have like a circle here in the middle of the forefoot, which is kind of interesting, and there are some holes exposing the actual foam. And then also here in the middle of the outsole we can see, I'm guessing this is his signature, and also we can see the exposed midfoot chain plate, right? So I don't know what they're doing over at 361 Degrees or over at Chinese companies, but this rubber is freaking crazy, guys. So right when I got it, right, I put it straight to feet and I was like, let's try the traction, you know what I mean? And holy crap, guys, it has an amazing bite. The bite seems absolutely amazing on my wood floors, of course. So I love that, and also it's a very, very high-pitched squeak. It's super loud too, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but I like to have a nice loud high-pitched squeak, which the DVD 2 has a very loud high-pitched squeak. So that feels very nice as well. I'm super duper excited about that. Obviously, traction for me is one of the most important aspects of a hoop shoe, you know, as far as performance goes, of course, because I need good grip, right? So I love that, and the traction seems top tier so far. Of course, we'll have to see on the dust performance though. I mean, it might pick up a little bit of dust. The grooves are kind of close together, especially here. Right here at like the edge of the toe box, not as much, but still I feel like it might trap dust, so we'll have to see on that, right? And also for durability, it says it's using abrasion resistant rubber, so I guess that's good. However, the rubber is pretty dang soft, right? All the rubber here, right? So here where the circle is, here in the midfoot, here in the heel, it feels pretty soft. Here in the forefoot, it feels pretty soft, right? I guess this feels the hardest as far as the rubber goes out of the entire outsole. So I guess that's good because this is more of like a highway area right here, but it still feels like a little bit softer, you know what I mean? So I don't think this will be good for outdoor use, honestly, right? Even though it does say abrasion resistant, so just be careful on that. But other than that, the traction, whatever rubber compound they're using, I love it, right? And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it feels really smooth so far, right? So we have a nice rounded shape, and we can see, I really like how they did this, right? So we can see the plastic cage, right? So it pretty much cages the entire foam. It leaves a little sliver of foam here, and this is what they're calling quick foam. It looks very similar to Boost and also Boom Cushion from Li-Ning, and they leave a little sliver of it right here, super duper thin, but it allows a little bit of compression here in the heel, so it doesn't feel super clunky, which I do like. And then here in the forefoot, we have a very nice curved shape and a good amount of forefoot flex. It's super duper flexible. It's very, very soft. And it has a little bit of rebound back, just a tiny bit. It's not super springy like the Wild 10, but it feels more on the smooth side of things, right? But overall, heel to toe transition feels very, very nice and smooth, right? Now, moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup definitely is a little bit of a letdown comparing it to the DVD 1, right? So the DVD 1 was pretty much fully exposed. There was no cage. And there was a lot of compression in the heel. It was soft, right? It has a little bit of rebound back. But here in the DVD 2, they're using a lot more cage, right? And the cage is kind of hard. It's kind of stiff. But yeah, so they're using two foams, right? So they're using this purple foam, as you guys can see, right? And this purple foam is called NRG X, and it's very, very soft, right? Especially here on the medial side, you can feel it. There's a lot of compression, right? But it's more just on the outside, right? And then on the inside, we have quick foam, which is this white foam. It looks very similar to Boost, like I said, and it's full length, right? It's pretty much that foam right underneath the foot, and then around that, kind of around the perimeter of the shoe, is the NRG X foam, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why they did it like that, but I guess it's because NRG X foam is a little bit more sturdy, right? It's not as soft probably, so that it makes sense to make it as the outer foam, right? But anyways, there's not a lot of compression, but there's a little bit because of this sliver of quick foam that's exposed. But it feels mostly like pretty responsive, right? And then for the insole, it's just a regular insole, you know, nothing crazy. It adds a little bit of, you know, something to the step and comfort. And then underneath that, we have like a felt kind of material for the stroll board, right? And then if you feel it, it's actually kind of stiff, which makes me kind of sad, you know what I mean? So 361 degrees, of course, they also made the AG4, and the AG4 has a soft mesh stroll board, right? And that soft mesh stroll board is super nice in the AG4. But then here in the DVD2, I guess they wanted to make it a little bit more responsive, but it feels lower to the ground than the AG4. So because it is lower to the ground, why would you make it stiffer? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. You know, you would want to make it softer because you are lower to the ground, and also because the cushion is thinner, right? But anyways, step-in comfort isn't anything amazing. Hopefully it breaks in, you know what I mean? And the step-in comfort gets a little bit nicer, a little bit bouncier, because the quick foam is actually quite nice, right? But yeah, it's feeling just more responsive. Step-in comfort is you know, there's a little bit of compression here in the heel. It's lower to the ground, which is nice. Impact protection seems like it'll be pretty good. So it just feels like a cushioning setup made more for guards, which makes sense. This is Spencer Dinwiddie shoe, but I want a little bit more something for the step-in comfort, and I wish they would have given us a soft mesh stroll board that's found in the AG4, right? So there's the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper, so they're saying it's TPU yarn, so it's basically plastic. TPU is just plastic pretty much, and then obviously they just made the plastic into very thin strands, and then they wove it together, so that's why they're calling it TPU yarn. It's a fancy little thing, you know, that they say, but I like it overall. I mean, for $100, it's not bad, but the quality isn't great. You know what I mean? It feels a little flimsy, it feels a little stiff. You know what I mean? Also, when I'm walking, the top of right here, right, it kind of digs into the top of my foot a little bit. It's just a little uncomfortable. There's no pain or anything. It doesn't hurt. It's just a little uncomfortable, but I'm sure that'll break in pretty nicely. Overall, I do like how supportive it feels though. It's a super supportive feeling upper. It doesn't stretch at all because of the TPU. And also it looks like they're fusing it a good amount, right? And also it feels like they glued it a lot as well. But I do like how overall it's super duper thin, right? So there's that. And then also here in the midfoot area, it stays pretty stiff, right? Because of the glued down material. And then moving on to the tongue has an average amount of padding, not super well padded. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, this lining material is kind of nice. It has this kind of like pattern to it. And it feels more like a cotton instead of like felt material or like a polyester, which shoes usually have. So that feels pretty nice, and it's also like an average amount of padding. And so overall, the material, it feels pretty nice on foot. I'm sure it'll break in nicely. The quality isn't the greatest, but that makes sense because it's only $100, right? So there's the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went true to size, and this shoe fits me a little bit long, right? So there's a little bit of length here, which kind of sucks. You know, I like to have a very snug fit, but that's okay. And I feel like if I went down half a size, it'll be a little too snug, you know what I mean? Because here in the toe box, it is kind of snug. Not super snug right now, but it is pretty snug. And also width-wise, I would say it's around normal width, you know? So yeah, going true to size, there is a little bit of length, so maybe I would have been okay going down half a size, but honestly, it is a snug enough fit to where it doesn't bother me as much, right? But if you want a super duper snug fit, especially lengthwise, then go down half a size. But if you want to be on the safer side of things, then probably go true to size if you have like a normal size foot and you want a kind of snug fit, right? And if you have a wide foot or you want a roomy fit, probably go up half a size, right? So there is the fit there. And also here in the midfoot, it is like more on the normal side of things. You know, it's not super narrow here in the midfoot, which feels nice as well. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it'll be very good, right? So like I said, this material feels really supportive. Like, look at this. It's a very, very glued down material. And also here in the forefoot where there's not a whole lot of like lateral counters here, right? But this material feels super supportive, so I feel like it'll be okay. Also, this plastic cage kind of comes up to act as a sidewall here in the midfoot. And then here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, it feels like. And also the NRGX foam kind of comes up acting as sidewall as well. So lateral containment feels like it's gonna be very good. And also lateral stability, look at that. It's a very wide base, so that feels like it'll be very stable. But also another thing that I like about lockdown is this lockdown system that they got going on for the lacing system, right? So it reminds me a lot of the fly trap system. So this kind of strap, right, kind of loops over and acts as an eyelet. and the laces go through it. And once you tighten the laces, it tightens this part here, like this orange part, right? So once you tighten the laces, it tightens the orange part and gives you better lockdown here in the midfoot. And there are 2 straps here in the midfoot, which I do like. One thing I don't like, however, is how long the strap is, right? So when you tighten this over your foot, like this last strap, kind of goes all the way here into the midfoot and almost goes to the other side, which is kind of weird, you know what I mean? So I don't like that. I wish they would have made this a little bit shorter, but other than that, it has a very nice lacing system, and it feels very nice for lockdown, you know, especially here in the midfoot. So I like how they kind of combine the lockdown system and also this upper, which is pretty stiff and very supportive feeling. But also this shoe feels pretty lightweight. It feels very minimal as well for the upper, so they kind of combine all of that together, which is kind of hard to do. You know, keeping a thin material but also keeping lockdown and support very good. It's not super easy to do in a shoe, right? So I like how they kind of combine all that together here in the DVD2. Now moving on to the weight. I don't know, I'm guessing like 11-12 ounces. Oh, 12.45 ounces. That's pretty much average weight. Let's check the other shoe. At 12.6 ounces. So yeah, the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So that definitely does make sense. Yeah, this shoe feels like it'll be very responsive, right? So you're low to the ground. Cushion feels responsive. Traction feels absolutely amazing. The upper is thin. It's minimal. So yeah, I feel like it'll be a very responsive shoe, and it feels like it'll be a very good guard shoe, of course. Also, I feel like if you're a bigger dude too, you should be fine. You know, support seems really good too. Lockdown seems really good. Cushion, maybe the cushion is a little bit lacking, you know, but I feel like it'll be pretty good overall shoe for everyone, you know. So yeah, and now moving on to the aesthetics, I don't know. I feel like it looks okay. You know, this colorway is alright. I'm not a huge fan of the colorway, but there are some better colorways available, and the overall shoe design looks okay. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like they did a little bit better in the AG4. You know what I mean? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, this might be a very, very good like budget shoe, $100, and that's what the DVD1 was. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed in is the cushion, because it does feel a little bit stiffer, right? And also I guess the upper feels a little bit more stiff as well, but I'm sure that'll break in pretty nicely. So my first impressions of this $100 shoe, the DVD2, is feeling pretty good so far, and I'm pretty dang excited to try it out, especially because the traction feels like it'll be top tier, right? So anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.